But God's anger was kindled because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as his advisory. Now he was riding on the donkey, and the two servants were with him. And the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. And the donkey turned aside out of the road and went into the field. And Balaam struck the donkey to turn her into the road. And then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards with a wall on either side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed against the wall and pressed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. And then the angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right or to the left. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. And Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? And Balaam said to the donkey, because you have made a fool of me. I wish I had a sword in my hand, for then I would kill you. And the donkey said to Balaam, I am not your donkey on which you have ridden all, or am I not your donkey on which you have ridden all your life to this day? Is it my habit to treat you this way? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. And he bowed down and fell on his face. And the angel of the Lord said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to oppose you, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned aside before me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let her live. Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I did not know that you stood in the road against me. Now, therefore, if it is evil in your sight, I will turn back. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but speak only the words that I tell you. So Balaam went with the princes back of Balak.
I know. Balaam, once again, Balaam, the false prophet, knows the will of God, and he's headed anyway to a place just to curse Israel so that he can get the money. And it's interesting, an angel of the Lord appears right in front of him with a sword, and he can't see it. He's a seer, right? He's a seer that can't see an angel of the Lord. Oftentimes when an angel of the Lord is referred to in the Old Testament, people believe that it's a pre-incarnate Jesus Christ. And this very well could be. Angels serve different purposes in the Bible. We long ago had a lesson on angelology, and we need to refresh that. But, you know, angels, some angels send messages. So when a Messiah, the Messiah comes, angels deliver that message. When Hebrews says that angels are ministering spirits. And so when Paul was in the middle of a storm, an angel came to him as a ministering spirit. And when Peter was in jail, an angel was there as a ministering spirit. And when Jesus was tempted after 40 days, the angels were ministering spirits. But angels are creatures of war as well. And so Hezekiah, the great king, in 700 BC, Israel, the northern tribes had already been removed. There was a great king of the Assyrians that had come in 722 BC, conquered the 10 northern tribes and hauled them off and deported them to Assyria. And they were beginning to penetrate into Judah. And King Hezekiah said, let me pay you tribute so that you don't come in. They accepted the tribute, but the king of Assyria kept coming in. Hezekiah was talking to Isaiah at the time, and Isaiah is saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And he comes to him again because they're pushing and pushing and they're mocking the Jews. And ultimately, an angel of the Lord appears at night and kills 185,000 soldiers. One angel of the Lord. You remember Jesus, when Peter cut his ear off, cut the soldier's ear off in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus said to Peter, do you not know that I could bring down 12 legions of angels as warriors? That's 72,000 angels. So I did the math because I'm a finance guy. 72,000 angels that can kill each 185,000 people is 13.5 billion people that those 12 legions could kill. There's only 7.5 billion people in the world. God is a God of enormous, enormous force. But this is weird, right? There's a conversation with a donkey going on. This donkey wanders off to the right. This donkey wanders into a wall, and this great famous seer can't see it. And the donkey falls to the ground, and he's beating it and beating it and beating it. And this donkey, so articulate, says, why have you hit me these 3 times? What are you doing? He's like, because you made a fool of me. I mean, that's what's crazy, right? He responds just perfectly, like it's normal. And I'm sitting there at the kitchen table, and I'm looking at Peanut, her dog, not my dog. And she's like just locked in on me. And I'm like, what is more crazy, if you were talking to me or I was talking to you? And Carolyn walks in and she's like, Peanut, you want to go get the mail? And Peanut hops up and goes to the door. And I'm like, it's all crazy, right? But this is going on. And we look at this and we think this is too crazy to be real. This can't be real. And be careful, because the unsaved people in the world look at how we're saved and they think that's too crazy. That's just crazy. It's crazy that a man came of an immaculate conception, thinking of football, the immaculate reception, an immaculate conception, lived a perfect life, died on a cross, and literally got up and walked out of a tomb. And they say that is crazy. That's totally crazy. But it's not without evidence. But you look at the Apostle Paul. Paul was the great persecutor of Christians. As a Jew, he was a Pharisee of Pharisees. And when he saw Christ on the road to Damascus, boom, fell on his face and changed. James, the brother of Jesus, did not believe that he was the Messiah until the resurrection, and he saw the resurrected Christ. The apostles were not Christians. Prior to that, these were Jews. These were devout Jews. And they all saw the resurrected Christ. 1 Corinthians 15, for what I received, I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the 3rd day according to the scriptures, and that he appeared to Peter. And then to the 12, the apostles saw the resurrected Christ. And after that, he appeared to 500 brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still living. And he's saying, they're alive. Go ask them. Go ask them if they saw the resurrected Christ. And then he said, and then he appeared to James, his half brother. He appeared to him and he didn't believe, and he converted and he became the leader of the Christian church in Jerusalem. And last of all, he appeared to me as one born abnormally. Paul was converted in an abnormal way after Jesus had already been resurrected. So we have a reasonable faith, and it is in a supernatural God. And it's just a great sort. So don't doubt talking donkey.